Hey guys, Buffy Game back today, bringing another video, and today we're going to be going over the best Modern Warfare weapons to use in Warzone. Right now, during the Season 2 of the Cold War integration, we're about halfway through, so I'm going to go through what I think are the best Modern Warfare weapons. If you're someone like me that's sick of seeing all the Cold War weapons, just a little reminder, we'll go over what I think are some of the best Modern Warfare weapons to still use in Warzone today to combat the current meta, that being the FFAR and the AUG. So let's go ahead and jump right in it. We'll go over to our weapons. Now, a lot of these weapons you've seen before, but I'm going to go over kind of what the meta builds are for them that you could use, at least what the meta builds used to be, and some liberties you can take. So first off would be the CR56 AMAX. If we go ahead and strip this thing down to base, I'm going to keep that neat desert Tamo on there eventually here. We'll go ahead and strip it down to start with. So attachment-wise, I'll go over the pros and cons, and then I'm just going to kind of, we're going to be reusing a lot of these, so I won't reiterate what I said already, but for the monolithic suppressor is going to be the first one we want for the barrel option. This is one that's going to be a staple for pretty much every weapon you're going to use. You're going to stay off the minimap, sound suppression obviously, and the damage at range buff you're going to get with this mono suppressor. Cons of the ADS speed and the aim walking steadiness, so we'll put that on there. Barrel, you're always, for the most part, going to want the longest barrel available, so the Zodiac S440. This is going to give you the damage at range increase for maximum with this weapon, the bullet velocity increase, and the recoil control. The cons are going to be the aim down sight speed and the movement speed, so we'll select that. Next up for the optic. Now again, this I personally prefer any other dual optic, but if you want to run meta, you can definitely run with the VLK three times optic. Since this is an Israeli weapon, I guess it would make sense that it was really made to replace a lot of countries' AKMs. So it would make sense that people would put Russian optics on this. So we'll go ahead and do the VLK, give us a 3x zoom. Cons of the ADS speed, however, this weapon has been shown to actually increase ADS speed and to reduce recoil with this optic. So we'll go ahead and put that on there. Next up, for the underbarrel attachment, everyone typically runs a commando or even a ranger. However, through my testing, I find that this weapon, since it does have very high recoil, if you want to reduce that as much as possible, it seems that the Merc foregrip is the one you really want for a lot of these 7.62 type weapons, whether it's by 39 or 51 millimeter. You typically are going to want a Merc foregrip. It'll give you, in my opinion, in my experience playing with them, the greatest vertical recoil reduction by using this. So go ahead and select the Merc foregrip. It's supposed to give you the recoil control and the hipfire accuracy. Cons are the aim walking movement speed and the aim down sight speed. So go ahead and put that on. Now, since we're reducing our ADS speed and some movement with this one, we can go ahead and put a tack laser on for the 5th attachment. This will allow us a little bit of a mobility increase, especially with the ADS speed. Give us the ADS speed increase, the aiming stability, and the aim walking steadiness. The cons are going to be the laser will be visible, but only when you're ADSing, so just be careful where and when so you don't give away your position. So those are all of our attachments for the ACE, the IWI ACE. So we'll go ahead and camouflage. I've been running these nice little, these kill brush desert type camos. I really enjoy these on a lot of weapons. I think it goes really well with some operators. But this is our CR56 AMAX or our IWI ACE firing 7.62 by 39 millimeter, which is the Russian cartridge. So this is one of the better, if not the best assault rifle you can probably use. Very fast TTK with this weapon, as well as if you can just control the recoil. It's probably one of the best assault rifles for the ammo fires and the TTK. Next up will be the ASVAL. So again, this is kind of the meta build that everyone runs. We'll strip this in down the base. This has the fastest TTK in Warzone at 0.407 milliseconds. So we'll go ahead. For the barrel, we're going to want the VLK OSA 200 millimeter barrel. So again, this is just a heavier barrel option with a bigger monolithic suppressor in here. Damage range increase and the bullet velocity increase. This weapon, no matter what, is internally suppressed or integrally suppressed, so you're going to always stay off the minimap with this weapon. Cons are the ADS speed, so we'll put that on there. The laser. Now again, a lot of people run this with a 5 milliwatt for the hipfire accuracy, so this will give you the hipfire accuracy and the sprint to fire for those close quarters engagements. Laser will be visible to enemies unless you're sprinting or ADSing, so remember that. Next up, a lot of people like to run the Strelec VLK stock. So again, this is going to help us out with the vertical recoil or the recoil control, the aiming stability, and the aim walking steadiness. The cons are going to be the aim walking movement speed and the aim down sight speed. So this is the best in-slot stock you can get for this weapon as well. We'll go ahead and select that. Next up, we'll skip out on the other ones. And for the ammunition, firing 9x39 millimeter, the base ammo here is 20, so we're going to want to increase that to 30 rounds. The magazine. The cons here are just going to be the ADS speed and the movement speed with those extra 10 rounds of the 9x39. And next up, everyone really likes to run this with a Merc foregrip for the recoil control and the hip fire accuracy. Now, paired with the 5mm laser, it'll be very good at hip firing in close quarters. The cons are going to be the aim walking movement speed and the aim down sight speed. One thing to just keep in mind when you are hip firing this, if you're going to utilize this build, is that you only have 30 rounds and it has a 900 rounds per minute rate of fire. So it fires very fast. So you just got to be careful if you're going to dump this thing. You're going to mag down pretty quickly and then you're going to have to reload. So just be mindful of that. But this is really the meta build that I see everyone running for the VAL. There are some nice, more efficient builds if you're going to be using sights or optics on this. But if you're going to be hip firing in close quarters, this is the build you want for the ASVAL. Again, fastest TTK in the game, better than anything at 0.407 milliseconds. So that's the ASVAL. Next up, M13. I still feel this is really one of the better weapons, more consistent weapons in the game right now, especially from the Modern Warfare weapons, which we're covering here. So for this one, if you're going to want the best build available, in my mind, you want the monolithic suppressor. You're also going to want the longest barrel. Again, same pros and cons we went over with the other ones. So we'll select the longest barrel, the Tempest Marksman. Then for the optic, again, meta. This was really Season 3, early Season 4 meta for Call of Duty Modern Warfare of Warzone during their season system is the VLK optic. Now, personally, I wouldn't run this just because I don't like Russian optics on Western weapons, but you do get the pros of the ADS speed reduction as well as the recoil reduction utilizing this optic. And this is what everyone used to run early Warzone days. Put that on. Ammunition, we're going to run the 60-round magazine. Again, so we're going to increase from 30 to 60 of the 5.56 by 45mm. And then for the underbarrel, we're going to go with the commando foregrip is what everyone would run. The recoil stabilization and aiming stability. And the cons are going to be the movement speed for this weapon. But you don't take any penalty to the ADS speed, which is why this one is really good. Now, the M13 here fires a little bit over 900 rounds per minute. I think it's around 950. And TTK is not bad on this. However, it's very accurate. Very little recoil, especially with some builds like this. You'll be able to get a lot of shots on target quickly. So it's a very underrated weapon from Modern Warfare. However, I still think it's one of the better weapons that you can use because of just how versatile it is. So that's our M13 build. Now, if we go ahead and skip down a little bit, the Kilo 141 of the H&K 433, still a very, very good weapon out to the specific ranges. It was really kind of broken, which is why it needed to be nerfed at ranges. Didn't have damage drop-off. It was still, I believe it was 6 or 7 bullets to kill at no matter whatever the range was. It could have been out to 1,000 meters. So we're going to want the muzzle. We're going to want the monolithic suppressor. The barrel option, we're going to want the Singuard Arbs 19.8-inch Prowler. Again, the same pros and cons we went over with the longest barrel attachments. Optic, a lot of people, again, for meta-wise, you're running the VLK optic. However, I prefer something like a flip or an integral hybrid. But for the purposes of this video, combating Cold War meta, we'll go ahead with the VLK optic. Ammunition, again, we're going to run that 60 rounds of the 5.56 by 45 NATO. So we'll increase from 30 rounds to 60. And we'll get the pros and cons you see there. And then for the underbarrel attachment, again, the commando foregrip, this weapon has a very controllable, I believe it's 750-ish rounds per minute, so it's a controllable recoil. It's present, but it's controllable, so you can use the commando foregrip. You don't need the negation of the ADS speed with any other grip on there. So we're on the commando foregrip. And then we have our Kilo 141 or our H&K 433. And again, like I said, it used to be, before they nerfed it, it was like a 6 or 7 bullet kill no matter what the range. So they finally nerfed that. It will take outside of, I think, 30 or 30 so meters, it'll take more bullets. I believe around 14 total to kill. But again, very easy weapon to control the recoil, so it shouldn't be too difficult. I think it's pretty fair and balanced that anything inside of those 30 meters is still going to kill very, very quickly with this Kilo 141 build or the H&K 43. Which I'm really happy they actually fixed this because I used to run this a lot. I really enjoyed it, and then it just kind of got overshadowed, but a lot of people went back to it eventually, and you can see very great weapon, still very good. A lot of fun to use. I'm definitely going to go back to that at some point because it still is very good. Next up is the M4. Again, this is a weapon that was really, really popular in the beginning of Warzone. If we strip this thing down, we're going to want the monolithic suppressor. We're going to want the Corvus Custom Marksman, the second longest barrel available. You also have the stock M16 Grenadier barrel here, which is a 20-inch barrel. So you're sacrificing the 1-inch. Same pros and cons, however, we're going to get more so. If we look at the Corvus Custom compared to the M16 Grenadier, you can see just the slight increases you'll get there. However, you take a decrease in mobility, which I don't really think you need. So we'll go ahead and just stay with the Corvus Custom. Optic, you can run something like a holographic, or you can run the VLK if you really wanted to. So we'll throw the holo on for this. Ammunition, again, 60 round magazine of the 5.56x45, and then underbarrel, we can go ahead and do the Commando foregrip again there. Really good M4 build, still very, very efficient in Warzone, and a pretty fast CTK as well. Very low recoil also, which helps you get shots on target relatively quickly and easily, so you can consistently keep them there. Mobility, again, a little slow, but again, you're getting the pros and cons of that, being that it doesn't have much recoil and you get shots on target. So that's the M4. And I think the last one we'll cover here is going to be the PKM. So we covered the PKP Pecheneg a lot in our videos, even the PKM, especially in our tactical weapons series. We'll go ahead and select this PKM, the best machine gun in my opinion. Very, very close to the M91. However, this one you have a very fast rate of fire and less recoil in my mind. So we're going to run the monolithic suppressor. We're also going to want the longest barrel, the 26.9-inch barrel. Laser, we can go ahead and put a tack laser on there because we're going to have a long barrel on this, and you're carrying the ammunition, you're carrying 100 rounds of the 7.62x54R. The optic, we're going to run that VLK because it's a Russian weapon. We can go ahead and throw a Russian optic on this, plus this is going to be the best in slot for this weapon. Ammunition, we'll leave at the blank 100 round box, and you can see there we're firing the 7.62x54R, like I said, so we'll keep the 100. You have a 150 and a 200 option if you really wanted. And then the underbarrel attachment, we're going to want the snatch foregrip because you get the recoil control and an ADS speed increase with this, which is the only in-slot, the only snatch foregrip you get in the game for any weapon, and I believe this is definitely the best in-slot for sure. Because of those pros, you get the recoil control along with the ADS speed, which you don't get with any other underbarrel attachment in the game for any weapon. So we'll go ahead and select that. Those are our 5 attachments. This is the Zenico PKM utilizing that blueprint for the standard issue. Again, very beautiful weapon. Still, in my mind, the best machine gun in the game by far. Very, very fast TTK, especially with this long barrel. Very, very low recoil. You can take out a whole squad if you catch them by surprise. So that's our PKM. Really, really good weapon. Those are the weapons we covered here. These are the best Modern Warfare weapons to use in Warzone right now in Season 2 of the Cold War integration to combat the Cold War meta. In my mind, these are kind of the meta builds that we're going to pull back out from Modern Warfare Season Pass, that being the CR56 AMAX build, the ASVAL, the M13, way back from Season 3, early Season 4 meta days. We also have the 433 or the Kilo 141, pretty recent meta that was being used. The M4, again, that's very, very early Season 3. And then the PKM, which, again, this has kind of just been a consistent heavy hitter all the way around. So that is all the weapons for today for our Modern Warfare weapons to use in Warzone. Here are the best ones in Season 2 of Cold War integration. Let me know down below what you guys think of your best weapons from Modern Warfare to use in Warzone to combat the current meta. What weapons do you like to use overall? What's your favorite? May not be the best in-slot weapon. Let me know down below what you guys think. Till next time, this is Buckner Gaming, out.